Hey, what's up everybody? Adobe Masters here, and today I'm be showing you how to do a line text reveal. So it's going to look a little something like this right here. So you see we have the drone footage coming up, and then we sort of have this animation coming in right here. And then the animation just goes away, and then we cut away to something else right about there. So what this is basically just a simple animation that we're going to be creating in Premiere Pro, and you can adjust this and sort of customize it to how you would like and get a really neat sort of end product here. So let's get started by creating ourselves a new sequence, going up to File, New, and then Sequence like so. Gonna click OK, and then we're just gonna drag our footage in, which is right here. And we're going to go ahead and change the sequence settings right here. And now we have this footage again like so. But you'll notice that it's actually really, really slow. So what I did was I just went in here and I sped it up to about 200%. Just by right-clicking on this, going to speed and duration, and bringing that to 200. I'm going to then hold the Alt key and spin my mouse wheel to get this zoomed in a little bit, like so. Right about there, looks good. And then what I did was I just trimmed it to right when the reveal was happening, right there. And now we have a nice piece of footage to work with. The first thing we need to do is we need to create our line. If you notice, there's a line animation here at the bottom that comes in first. So the problem with Premiere is it doesn't have a way to create a straight line. If I hold the Shift key, no matter what I do, it always creates a line of wherever you put it. And this may look straight, but you see that there's that sort of like jagged part right there, which means it's slowly going up. So what we're going to do is we're going to create something that allows us to sort of see a straight line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into New, and I'm going to create an adjustment layer like so. I'm going to go ahead and rename this to Grid. So I'm right-clicking on it and rename right there. We're going to go Grid. I'm going to drag that piece of footage onto the composition like so, and then or into the sequence like so, and then I'm going to go over to the effects tab right here, go down to video effects, generate grid, drop that on here like so, and now you'll see that this is just a black grid. There's no real way to just make this sort of transparent. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and just lower the opacity down to about maybe like 11%, like so, 11% like that. And there we have it. Actually, you can do this, or I just noticed there's a blending mode down here. If you do screen, it's going to do the exact same thing. It's going to just screen over and allow you to see through the grid. Either or, whatever works for you. As long as we have this grid, we have something to work with. I'm also just going to lower the opacity even just a little bit here because I don't want them to be that sort of that bright and bold. So now we have a grid in place, we can begin to sort of work with this. What we're going to do is we are going to draw the straight line using the grid. So I'm going to click on this piece of footage right here, or I mean this monitor up here, and once it is selected, I'm going to hit the tilde key, which is right underneath the escape key on a North American keyboard. It's the little squiggly line, and what this does is it just immediately brings it into full screen mode. So I'm going to click on the pen tool like so. I'm going to bring it into full screen mode, and we're just going to create ourselves a line, and then we're going to drag over to the right side like so, and it's going to create a line that goes straight across. And now we have a line that is basically straight. It may be off by a couple of pixels, and if we really want to, we can adjust it. If we click on it, we can sort of like maybe rotate it or try to adjust it to make it perfectly straight. But as long as it's like, you know, within a degree or two, we should be fine, and it should look perfectly fine. So now we have our line created. What we want to do is we can go ahead and turn off the grid, or we can keep it on. I'm going to go ahead and keep it on just because it allows me to sort of see the overall format of the effect. Once we have this graphic created, let's go ahead and just animate it. So let's get to a point, maybe we want the text to come up right here. So let's drag this on over to here. And now what I did was I just went into the graphic. I went up to the effect controls, and then went over here, and down here in the shape 01, that's what this is. We're going to go down into the scale, and we want to affect the horizontal scale. So I'm going to uncheck that, and you'll see now we have control over the scale right here. We could, if we wanted to, move the anchor point. So if I click on this, you'll see that there's this anchor point over there. I can move this anywhere I want. And what it's going to do is it's going to allow me to scale from that position. So I could scale from the middle if I wanted to, but I'm going to go ahead and scale from the left like I did in the example. We're going to turn on an animation keyframe right here just by toggling the animation. Start it off at 0 and then move forward maybe 10 frames and bring it up to 100 like so. And now we have just the basics of the animation starting like this. And once we have this animation going, we can add our text to the next part, which is going to be right when it ends. I want the text to then come up from beneath. So once we have the position where we're going to add in our text, we're just going to click on the text tool, click once, and then type anything you want. It could be like Hong Kong, I don't know, 2017, or whatever text you want to go in there. And so we're going to position it right here. And you'll notice that the white in the background is sort of distracting on our video right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to, we could do brightness. I'm just going to do the quick way and lower the opacity of this a little bit, just so that the text sort of pops more than the background and it just looks a little bit better. But you could change the text color. You could go down here and lower the brightness. You could make a circle so that it fits in here. It's all really up to how you want to do it. So what I did was I just lowered the opacity of the background, made sure that it made it go slightly towards black, and it gives us a sort of cleaner look for our text here. So now that we have the text here, what we want to do is we want to animate it coming in. So what we want to do is first off find maybe like a font that we like. I like this font right here, and let's see, bold. Yeah, I think this is fine. So yeah, find the font, get it all set up and organized, ready to go, and then we're going to go up here. And we're actually going to go into the opacity right here, this one, and we're going to create ourselves a mask, right like so. And we want to make sure to invert this mask. We don't want everything in the mask to represent. We want everything outside of the mask to sort of be, shown. So we want this to sort of be an edge, like it's something that can go behind it. And now we're going to align the top part of this edge with the line right here, just like so. And then what we want to do is we're going to move forward maybe 10 or so keyframes and leave a keyframe marker here. The reason we want to start with the ending is because this is the position we want it to end at. So we're going to go ahead and move to that point, set that, and then start it back at the other one. So let's move up there, and then we're going to go down into the text right here where it says Hong Kong 2017 or whatever text you have right there. We're going to go down, and we're going to find the position marker right here. Going to create a keyframe, and then now we can move back to the beginning. Now we're going to take the right side here, which is the Y, and we're just going to drag it just beneath it. We don't want to go too far. Like, we could go right down here, but the problem is the most of the animation will be inside of the sort of hidden box. We want most of the animation to be it coming out so we have more control over it. So we're just going to go right to where it disappears, which is right there. So we're going to have it disappear like so, and then now it's going to come out. So now we have the basics of the animation going. Line comes in, it goes up like so. Little bit of a problem is that it's very, very linear at this point. It looks, like I said, linear. It doesn't look, fluid and fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back into the graphics here with a straight line that we've drawn. And we're going to make it scale. We're going to either ease it in or ease it out. I'm going to go ahead and try easing it out right here. You'll notice that when I do that, the velocity, that's the velocity right here, it's going to go really, really fast, and then it's going to kind of curve off. So it's going to start slow and then go faster and faster and faster as it goes. And that gives it just a little bit more of a bounce to it. And then what we're going to do to the next part is we want to do the exact same thing to the Hong Kong text coming up from beneath. We want to give it a little sort of flair to it. So we could do the reverse here. We could go with this one's going to easy in. And you'll notice that it starts fast and it goes slow. Just like so. And I think that looks good right like that. Let's go ahead and turn off our grid so we can see the final product right here. And it is looking good like so. What I want to do now is just lower the opacity just a little bit on each one of these texts to make it sort of blend into the background just a touch. I mean, we go in a couple % on each of these. Sort of like a stylistic touch here. And now they're just a little bit see-through. And I like that because it sort of blends it into the background a little bit, makes it look like it's sort of part of the scene a little bit more. So now let's bring this out to full resolution and take a look at our effect right here. Looking good. I noticed that this line is actually a little bit crooked. I would have to go back in there and fix that, definitely. You can just see when it's coming in, it isn't going straight across. You can see it a lot right here. This will really show the sort of crookedness. But for right now, it's looking pretty good. Now what we need to do is we just need to do the inverse to finish off the effect. So you can do it two ways. You can either do what I did in the first one, which was I just took both of them, I created a nested sequence, and then I just copy and pasted it and reversed the time signature so that it does exactly what it did coming in, going out. That's sort of the lazy man's way of doing it. Not a very sustainable way because it sort of loses some of the ability to edit it. So if that's, if just one effect, one off, you want to just do it really quick, this is a nice way to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to reverse the keyframes here. This will give us more control. So we're going to go in to the first, which is the line right here, move to a place where we want it to stop. I'd say right about here. And then I'm going to go ahead and just, first off, leave a keyframe, and then go, which, not the opacity. That's not what we want to be keyframing. Yeah, we'll go ahead and cancel all those. What we want to be keyframing for the line is the scale down here. So we want to go ahead and leave a keyframe right here. And then now we want to move forward 10 frames, right like so. 1, 2, I'm holding the shift key to jump 5 at a time. Move forward 10 frames. And then now we're going to bring it back down to 0%. And we want to make sure that we copy this sort of movement in the opposite direction. So we want to apply the effect here. We want to ease it in on this side. And you'll see that it creates the exact sort of movement that it did coming in, just in a reverse sort of way. And then we want to do the exact same thing to the Hong Kong text as well. We want it to, right when, we actually want the text to disappear before the line goes. So maybe like the line starts moving here. So what we want to do is we want to click on the Hong Kong text. We want to go into the position down here, create ourselves a keyframe. This is going to be the ending keyframe, and then we want to move back 10 and create ourselves another keyframe. And this far one, we want to just have it disappear again. And we want to change this one back into a linear keyframe. Like so. It's still looking decently linear, so we might actually want to switch the positions of these two. So we'll make this one, we'll ease this one out, and then we'll bring this one back into a linear keyframe. And there, that looks a lot better. That looks a little bit more fluid. So now we have our animation just like so, and that is how you create the line animation. Like I said, this one came out a little bit tilted. You'd have to go back and just sort of fix that a little bit. But overall, this is how you create the sort of reveal animation in Adobe Premiere Pro. Thanks everyone for watching. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below or on our website at adobemasters.net. If you want to see more videos similar to this one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I make a video every other day on Adobe related content. And until next time, guys, see ya.